Gonna do another hip hop one right now. Okay, I want to talk about two West Coast rappers, Mack 10 and MC8. Both from the LA area. Mack 10 is from Inglewood, and MC8's from Compton. And I don't have all their stuff, but I'm gonna get into it. So the debut album by Mack 10, self-titled Mack 10. This is a great album. My favorite ones on here: On Dem Thangs, Mosey Wozy, and Here Comes the G. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. We're talking laid back style, hardcore gangster rapper. He was discovered by Ice Cube, but I forget exactly when that formation happened, but I think Ice Cube was a big part of making this album happen. Next up, Based on a True Story. This is his second full length. The disc is pretty much the same as the first one. And this one is actually my least favorite from him. I feel like this is where he really came to prominence, but I gotta put this one in the car, because again, I haven't listened to one in years, and I always remember it as being the worst one. I think it was probably around that time, probably after that album, or the first one, I forget, but West Side Connection with WC and Ice Cube, that group came around. That's kind of got me into that music, actually. Maybe when I was 14, I was at a birthday party, and I heard Bow Down playing in the living room there, and I was like, what is this? And somebody goes, West Side, and I go, what's West Side? So I like a West Side Connection, and I found the CD at a used CD store later that week, and went from there. Can't find that CD right now, but it's so scratched up that it's I guess I haven't given it a spin because a couple of my favorite songs don't work too well. Now, The Recipe, his third full-length album. This album was kind of a big deal at the time. I don't know how well it did sales-wise, but I think it's called The Recipe because he has so many guest appearances from different rappers from all over the country. And I should take a moment to say he started a record label called Who Bangin'. They put out several releases. I got some, but maybe we'll get into that when we talk about just kind of random LA West Coast CDs. But it's got Jermaine Dupri, Foxy Brown, Master P, Mystical, MC8. I think it was an unreleased verse from The Departed Eazy-E, Gerald Levert, Old Dirty Bastard, Buckshot, Jail Felony, Snoop, Ice Cube, Big Pun, Fat Joe, and like those are just the big names. Awesome CD. And my favorites are The Recipe, LBC and the ING, and Number One Crew in the Area. Remember, my grandma bought me that for like my 16th birthday. Don't think she knew what she was buying. Mack 10, The Paper Route. This is his fourth album. At the time, I was kind of 50-50 on it, but through the years, it's endured as a great CD. I like the one Pop X. Pimp or Die. Nobody. I'm Dope. And From the Streets. This might be... I'm going to put this one tied with the first album as my favorite album by him. I was really excited about this at the time. For his fifth album, Banger Ball, he signed to Cash Money Records. And this is when Cash Money didn't have different rappers from all over the place. They basically had the Hot Boys and the Big Timers and their solo releases. And I was a big fan of the Cash Money stuff back then, as well as Mack 10. This CD is cool, but I thought it was a bit of a disappointment. Yeah, it's just it's a cool CD, but it just has not stood the test of time at all. And that was his only album on Cash Money. Another West Side Connection album came out a couple years later, and he did do a couple more albums, but this is the part when I say I'm out of the loop, but you know, I never really say anything too negative about releases I haven't heard, especially, and even ones I'm on the fence about. No point talking bad about it. It's just my opinion, and I'm just having fun talking about music, right? So that brings us to our next rapper of the day, MC8. He was in a group called Compton's Most Wanted, which was one of the pioneering gangster rap groups, along with NWA and Ghetto Boys. And this was the first CD I owned by him, Death Threats. Talk about DJ Quick some other day, but DJ Quick was another popular Compton rapper where they had some beef that led to some bad things. I believe MC8 had a friend who died, and I think there's a whole bunch of violence that didn't really, it's kind of up in the air exactly what happened. To this day, I don't think these guys really have a relationship, even though there's always hope that they get together and work on some stuff. I only bring that up because he does diss DJ Quick on at least a couple tracks on here, I'm pretty sure. I like them both. Last Man Standing. Got to admit, I haven't listened to this one in a long time. Who's on here? Gaz, Be Real, and some lesser known names. Okay, speaking of Mack 10, MC8 for 2 albums signed with Mack 10's Who Bangin' Records. This is the first one. I think the second one was called In My City, In My Neighborhood, something. But this one's called Section 8. And I thought this one got kind of a not great reception when it came out, but I think this one is my personal favorite. Living in the Streets. Thicker Than Water. I got to admit, the song titles aren't coming back to me because half of this album is amazing, and I just can't recall which is which. But it's the first half of the album for sure. There was an era, and to some extent still going around, where a lot of West Coast rappers were doing these joint albums. I know Spice One did a lot, MC8 did a lot, and a lot of lesser known names did them too. But this one is Brother Lynch Hung from Sacramento with MC8. And the sound was pretty good. I remember I bought it in Fort Lauderdale many years ago on vacation. And I think I like the first song, The New Season, the best. I would make a video on Brother Lynch Hung, but for an artist that I'm a big fan of, I think I only own one CD. And that's not even a classic one. But Seas Unto Sickness and Loaded, if you see those, check them out. Or just give them a stream. So, that's it. Just talking about 2 of my favorite rappers. Thank you.